Hi everyone, welcome to the lesson, and today we're going to discuss the grand staff for piano music. And obviously you see here is a grand staff. On top is a treble clef staff, and below here is a bass clef staff. The treble clef is also known as a G clef, and the bass clef is also known as an F clef. Now we start with the treble clef staff. There are 5 lines, both of them, all right? So we count the lines from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we use these lines to draw notes on, okay? And also the spaces, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. We also put notes here that will indicate the pitches. So all of these here are pitches. So the bottom area of the treble clefs, if there's a note somewhere here, say you have a quarter note here, all right, this should sound lower than the note here on top. Visually, if a note is lower, it's the sound should be lower. If a note is higher, the sound or the pitch should be higher, okay? Let's set that aside now. Same thing with the bass clef. We have 5 lines, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces, 2, 3, 4. And we use these lines and spaces to write notes on. So obviously the bass clef is lower. So if notes here are written down here, compared to notes here, okay, this should be lower. This note should sound lower than the note here in terms of pitch, okay? And since if you're comparing the bass clef and the treble clef, this note here is way, way lower than a note on top here on the treble clef. So this is a big difference, all right? That's a big stretch. So this note should be really, really low. This note here on top, it should be a higher note, higher sounding pitch, okay? Next is the musical alphabet. Before you actually understand how this works, you need to know how many musical alphabets we have. We use A to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. We only have 7 letters. These are the natural keys on the white area of the piano keys, all right? They're black and white keys. These keys will be found on the white keys, okay? These are what we call the natural keys. Now in between are the sharps and flats, okay? If there's a note here between A to B, C to D, D to E, and F to G, and G to the next A, all right, there's a note there. So there are 5 notes in between the natural keys, the natural white keys. So but for now, just know that we only use A to G. Anything beyond G, we'll just repeat to A, back to A, and just follow the pattern, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, going up. Now in reverse, if there's a note below A, it'll go back to G. We'll start on G, and then you'll see the pattern in G, F, E, D, C, B, A, backwards. Next is where those letters or musical alphabets are assigned. Okay, so now we start here in the middle of the grand staff. We'll put a ledger line. This is a ledger line, okay? This is C, okay? That's middle C, right? Now on the keyboards, if you have no idea where middle C is, you should look in the middle, in the middle of the keyboards, and you'll find 2 black keys and 3 black keys, okay? This group of 2 black keys here in the middle of your piano should be, if you're using an 88 keyboard, should be 2 black keys from the right and 2 black keys from the left. So count it from the right side. If you have an 88 standard 88 keyboard, look for the 2 black keys on the extreme right and start from there and hop to the 4th 2 black keys. You'll find it here in the middle, and down here is middle C, okay? It looks like this, okay? Now the same thing on the left side. Look for these 2 black keys. You'll find 1 black key. That should be part of this of the 3 black keys. But look for the 2 black keys first, and then go to the next, and you'll find this is the 4th 2 black key group from the left. So that's the center, okay? And now middle C will be here on the white key. So we're talking about the natural keys, the white keys. So middle C is right here. So here on the grand staff, this is middle C, right? Now there are no notes here yet. I'm just using dots just to mark where the notes are, or the pitch, or the lines, or the spaces are, okay? So if you put a note here like a quarter note, that's what it's going to look like. But we're not talking about note duration yet. That's a different topic. We're just talking about the pitches, the grand staff, okay? Pitches on the grand staff. So this is middle C. Now, as we go up, if you know that this is middle C, if we go up, not here on this line, if you just move up on the space, remember, in this, we are putting notes on the lines and the spaces. So this imaginary ledger line, or imaginary line, which we call ledger line, is down here, okay? Now this note is on top of this ledger line, but below the first line, the actual first line of the treble clef. So as you can imagine, we're using A, B, C, D, E, F, G as we go up the pitch. So this is C. If this is C, the next letter next to C, if we're talking about the musical alphabets, is D. So this note here is the D note. So this note here, let me erase this, will be beside middle C, D right here, okay? And as you can imagine, as you go up again, here on the actual first line of the treble clef, that's an E, okay? And this is located in here, an E. There you go. So for now, I know it's very, very overwhelming trying to memorize all the notes on the grand staff as a beginner. But for now, I suggest just memorizing C, D, and E for now. So take a screenshot of this if you want to, but we're going to exercise your eyes to get familiar with the treble clef, okay? I'm going to erase this first. And now, remember where C is. This is middle C, okay? That's middle C. This is D, and this is E, right? Obvious, very obvious. C, D, E. Now it's easy to read notes when they're closer to each other, but if they skip, that's difficult. So it will take a little while, but before doing that, I really suggest on practicing just 3 notes for now. So here, this is C, D, E. If I put another note here below, like this, can you guess what note that is? So if you look back, it's below this line, but it's not. There's no line. So it's, space. So it's the same as this one. So that is D, okay? Then if I put another note here, okay? Now this note in relation to this note is 1 step higher. It's on the line. If you look back, that's E. So this C, D, E went back down to D, then went back a step up to E again. So if you think about it, just physically, visually looking at it, all right, you'll see the notes go up and down. So this went up, this went up, this went down 1 step, and then went up again to E, all right? If I put a note here again, it stepped down again, back to D. And if there's another note here with a ledger line, that's a C, okay? All right, as we move further, here, this C here, and you see the next note, it skipped. It went to stop. It skipped to the next line, not to the space. It skipped there. So it's C. This is D. This is E. All right. So this is what we call a skip. So the rest are just stepping up or stepping down, and this one is just skip. Right. It's 2 steps. 1, 2. So it's C, D, E. This is E. All right. Now to skip down again, it goes back to C. That's a skip, another skip, right? So if you're just memorizing notes that are closer to each other, you can see if they're stepping up or stepping down or skipping up or skipping down. So I suggest taking time, really, just focusing on 3 notes at a time. For this week, you can just do a visual exercise or a note reading exercise involving just 3 notes. Let's try that, okay? So again, we start here, C. All right, I'm going to write random notes just from C to D, from C to E, and try to identify them as we go, okay? And then I'll write down the correct answer. And let me know if you got it right, okay? So this, and this, right? And this, Next one. And this one, and maybe the last one. There you go. Okay, so write down the letters that you think that what the letter names of these notes are. And I'm gonna write it down one at a time, okay? Let's see if you got it right, okay? So this is C. It skipped up, right? It went up to the line, not the space, so that's an E. And from here it went down, one step only, not here. So this is a D. Down here is a C. And then it stepped up again, right? Not on the line, but on the space. That's higher than C. So that's D. Went up again, E. Then it skipped down. So it's not on the space, it went to that middle line, the ledger line. So that's C. You can use that as a really marker or a landmark note, that ledger line C, okay, middle C. Next is, it didn't skip to the line, it just stepped up to the space, so that's D. It went down again, C. This time it skipped up, it went to that line, so that's E. And then it stepped down to D, and then stepped down to C, right? Okay, did you get it right? Let me know if you got it right, okay? So for now, just practice our sight reading or learning just from C to D and spend time with that reading up and down. Now, these are just dots. These are not quarter notes, half notes. Those are note values. That's a different topic, but for now, we're just discussing how to read the general view of the grand staff and focusing only on 3 letters or 3 notes on the treble clef for now. All right, so good luck on this. I'll be uploading the continuation of this lesson next week. So if for this week, try to study these notes. And yeah, I'll see you on the next lesson. Good luck.